we're going to mainly talk. So, Yo, good morning. We are getting things kicked off here at Southern Detailers Conference. I'm telling you, Rod and I are having a good time.
We always
Partly
have a good
because
time. We don't care if we're alone.
That's true. Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, we're having a great. I always have a good time because I am self-entertaining. It's the ADD. I can talk to myself a gazillion times, but in many different voices.
And he does.
But anyway, we're having just an amazing time. And part of the, Rod and I, as you guys saw yesterday and have seen throughout our whole life in this industry, is we are very hands-on. So yesterday, we're next to the Onyx Coatings booth, and I'm over there watching Bernice. If you guys don't know, welcome our guest, Bernice Berry.
Good morning.
She has a detail shop out of Phoenix, Chandler, right? Just right outside of Phoenix. And you've been in the business a bit.
I have.
Yeah, you got to pull that mic up so they can talk to you.
There you go.
32 years I've been in the business.
32? You look 17.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
That's right.
Because I work so hard, that's why.
That's awesome. So anyway, she's a trainer. She runs her own business. She's now a rep for Onyx Coating. But Onyx Coating's doing something really cool. So they pull in this killer blue car. Little Corvette over there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Plus it's blue, which is awesome. And I'm watching her doing PPF, and I'm like, I want to try this. So Bernice was gracious enough to teach this hobbyist.
Yeah.
Very much a hobbyist, how to do PPF. So Onyx has a new PPF offering. So let's talk about that.
Well, I'm actually impressed. I did get to try a couple others that were really good. This one seems to be, it grabs, it installs nicely, it's glossy, it's hydrophobic, and I saw a couple mistakes on some installs that were on the fenders, pulls right off.
Yeah.
I didn't feel nervous about pulling paint because it just came right off, but yet when I lay it, it's super grabby and sticky. So I was very impressed with the product. Again, the gloss, the hydrophobics, the adhesive, everything about it looks just like paint, like it's not even on there.
No, you can't even tell.
So, and it's a different animal. As we're watching Jody do that and watching the Onyx team do that, it's a different animal. It's not somebody that does paint correction is not just going to all of a sudden be a PPF installer. It is a lot of work, and it's a different animal, and you're doing a different. Anytime you're touching the paint, you're concerned about it. But when you have a razor blade and you're cutting against the paint, that's a different animal, and people can screw that up fast.
Real fast. And if you don't know a paint person or someone who can repaint the vehicle, that can get a little bit scary and a little bit expensive.
Absolutely.
And I can straight up tell you, yesterday, Bernice was so patient with me. I'm honest with myself. I recognize, right? And I was amazed at how, to your point, about how easy it was to pull it off, spray some hot water under there, pull it down and stretch it and stuff. But there was no way I was going to touch a knife. There was no way.
It's muscle memory in your brain, because I always make my students practice at least 5 times. And if they don't get it after 5 times, you're going to have to do it a lot more to do a proper job. And I like for all my students to leave knowing how to cut, because not everybody can afford a plotter, which is between $5,000 and $7,000 right out of the gate.
Yeah. Well, and there was a huge compliment made to you this morning when I was talking to one of the guys that attended one of your trainings.
Oh.
And he said the thing that I liked about Bernice's training there in Chandler was when we came in, she had a piece of paper, and then she had the PPF. And she's like, she had all these circles and triangles and different shapes. And she had us practicing on this combination of PPF and paper. And if you cut the paper, you cut the paint.
Yes.
So you're fired.
Yeah. Right. Get out now.
Yeah,
just kidding.
You're about to paint a car is what's happening there.
Wow.
And even worse than that would be if the PPF is removed later and then the customer notices a slice in their paint. That's going to be death to you, because it might be 3 years later, 5 years later, and all of a sudden now you got a bad name. And I know that's the same with everything, but that is one of those things that is, PPF is a different animal. I know I said that a second ago, but you can mar it. It's somewhat self-healing with a little bit of heat if you do it the right way. But once you've marred that PPF, it's coming off, and you're replacing it, and it's expensive. The product's expensive. There's good money in it. It's a good thing to add to your line of business if you have the means to do it. But again, it's training. So talk about what you guys are doing with training, because I know you are a huge advocate of training. How would somebody come and learn to do that?
Well, first of all, you have to have the mindset of, I'm going to have to drop $1,000 to $1,800 for my first roll. You can probably do 2 to 3 cars per roll.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But I mean, you can make a lot of money or you can lose a lot of money. I have one of my students, and he now works with IGL, Chris Seaton. He immediately went home and bought a roll, and he did a dually.
Oh,
A complete on a dually.
oh
I'm like,
my
Chris,
God.
what were you thinking?
No way.
But
Wow.
he ended up spending, I want to say, about 8 to 10 grand just to complete that
Oh,
truck.
wow.
So I don't advise that to anybody, but hats off to him for trying.
Yeah.
And he did complete the job. So I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
he's committed to it, and I think that's important.
Nothing like experience to not only burn your pocketbook, but also give you the skills to know what to do.
I have the wife in the back in your
Yeah.
ear.
So I heard a comment yesterday. I don't know how to answer this, so I want to ask you.
Okay.
Someone said PPF versus a vinyl wrap. How do you classify those different?
Okay, well, the install is completely different.
Oh,
Master
wow.
of the installation technique. Vinyl wrap, I'm going to say, is more cosmetic. You want to change the look, the aesthetics of a vehicle.
Right.
You want it to look beautiful. Does it cover any issues? Absolutely. Like, we just recently did a truck that was all peppered with rock chips on the front of the grill. We use Aztec's product called Damascus.
Yeah.
Came out beautiful. It covered all the holes. Now, if we used a solid color, whether it's gloss, matte, or satin, you can see every single hole. And
Yeah.
It's going to look worse wrapped.
Yep.
Mm.
So you have to know how to play, when to play. PPF. Now, the cool thing is Damascus is also a PPF and a wrap. So that took care of that problem. So you probably won't get peppered anymore, or he will, but it won't be as bad.
It won't
Right.
be as bad.
And so the PPF is for rock chips.
Right.
And it helps a lot. Sometimes you might scrape the gate or the garage coming in or out. Pull it off. The paint is fine. You might have a dent, but the paint is fine.
Yep.
So
So I wanted to dip my toes in it because I'm
Okay.
always wanting to learn, and so I did exactly what you said. I took a Chevy emblem on the front of a pickup on the grill, and it was all, the back of that silver is peeling off the back. It looks horrible.
Yep.
So I pulled the emblem off, and I did a wrap, and I did it carbon fiber because I didn't want to see the chips and all that stuff. And it was different. As I'm watching that, I'm like, did I do it wrong? And then when somebody said that, I was like, no, I did it. So I heated it up, I stretched it around, and it was because it's carbon fiber that I could hide those things and stretch it
Yes.
around the back. If it was clear like that, I was like, yeah, there's no way. It would have seen all the wrinkles. There would have been a problem there. But with the carbon fiber, I did it. It was a small piece. It was on my own truck. It's a huge improvement, and I encourage anybody to do that. I have a car that's super low to the ground. The whole front bumper is PPF like that. It's hammered. I'm gonna have to pull the front bumper off at some point and fix it, but it's perfect. When you peel it off of there, where it got hit with a rock, and as I peeled the PPF off, the paint, like you said, the paint is perfect.
yeah.
In fact, I'm gonna have to polish the rest of the car when I pull it off of there to make it look as good as underneath. So. Huge difference between ceramic versus PPF. I think that's the perfect scenario. A lot of rock chips, a lot of sandblasting from cars if you're driving on the highway. This is a super protective layer over the top of your paint, and I think it's a fabulous thing. I don't think there's anybody that shouldn't have that on the front of a car if they
At
actually
least on the
drive
front,
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Especially
so-
in Idaho with the rock chip.
Yeah, we
rock
get tons
chip,
of rock chips.
sealant.
You do have to learn how to take care of it, and I think that's a lot of people. The training, again, the learning and the training about what products you're using and how to use it and what's good and what's not good and how to do, because that's got stripes on it. That's another animal.
Yeah.
The mirrors are curved. That's
Yes.
another animal. I mean, there's all kinds of subtleties to it. The body lines, how it lays, where to cut it. There's a lot to it. I mean, I can take somebody that paints cars and I paint, but you can paint a car with any curves. And there's a little bit of technique. It's where you hold the gun, how far away, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
With this, different animal. That Corvette versus, let's say, an old school like MG that's rounded, those are two completely different. This has sharp angles. It has points. You can get bubbles underneath the point of that and maybe not work it out. I tell people whenever, so we get questions about it, I'm like, remember when you were little and you put your stickers on your Hot Wheels and you got a bubble under it and you couldn't get it out? Just imagine that escalating to a $200,000 car. So that's where you're at. You're laying down this layer, and you've got to work everything out. And watching you guys do it, it was phenomenal. It was the most highly watched thing at the entire show.
Absolutely,
was that Onyx training. So
you are the star of the show, and I know you didn't intend to be, right?
No, that was never my intention.
You can pull that up.
I just really want people to learn that it's not like detailing, but if you do learn this, you can triple your income. And I come from nothing. I don't want to go out as nothing. And if you're there and you're trying to reinvent yourself, come check this out.
Yeah.
Come learn how to do it. Does it take patience? Absolutely. But the alternative is no comparison.
No, I love that you're so open with, I came from nothing. But the one thing that I love about you is that you have taken I came from nothing, and I've built out of my experiences something absolutely amazing. It's blessing my family, it's blessing my life, but I'm also now blessing to other people. And you're such a gifted teacher, right? And watching you go, oh no, well, try this, and you're so patient and you're so gentle and kind with me, and I really appreciate that. But it's that is a real gift, right? And so one of the things that I learned from PPF is that if you are even going to consider this, you need to go to Bernice and get trained.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
So where do people tap into your training? Because you're going to be Onyx, but you're also doing Damascus and other stuff. So how do people connect with you? Because you are the bomb.
Well, I don't advertise. I want people to come because they want to come.
Exactly.
I want people to come because they're serious about growing their company.
Right.
Because to me, I will give you everything, and I will always have my phone lines open so you can reach out to me. So if you're in a bind, you call me. You have my number, call me. And just because the class is over after 3 days and I've taken your money, you call me.
Yeah.
I don't want them to struggle like I did. There was many times I just want to say, yep, screw this. I'm done. I don't want to do PPF anymore. Then I thought one day, okay, you can leave the money on the table, Bernice, or you can create money and help others.
Yeah.
And so with that, I've been trying to save a little bit of money. And this summer, I normally close my classes, and we're now helping foster children learn how to do tint and
That's
detailing.
awesome.
Because
That's awesome.
at 18, here's your bag. Good luck. That's not fair.
No, it's not.
And you're giving back, and I think that's what's really cool.
So let's talk about that, because you have an event coming up.
I do.
And you're inviting some foster kids, and you're like, look, we have a date. So tell us all about it.
Well, it's with the Native American community there in Chandler, Arizona, and they approached me and asked if I could help their kids do something with their lives, because a lot of the children end up on drugs, alcohol, prostitution, homelessness. And I thought, I don't understand some of them, but a couple of them I do. And if I can help, use me, I'm here. It's hot. I don't like people to come from the East Coast over here to Arizona, because a lot of them don't know how to drink water consistently.
Well, they get it through the air. It just soaks in, But
and
no,
they
it's
pass out, have to see the doctor or whatever, and that scares me because I'm old. I can't be picking people up off the floor. So I thought, okay, well, the natives are here and their children, and what happens to them afterwards? They don't have a skill. You just lived in this house, you went to school, and okay, good luck.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that, because so many kids, especially foster kids, they age out of the system. And there's no bridge for them to move into a productive, healthy, enjoyable lifestyle, right? Because one, they haven't been taught how to do that, and they haven't been given the tools and the skills and the know-how to do that. So I love that you're a bridge to that. That's awesome. So.
Well, that's all I can give.
Yep.
And they deserve it.
I think that's good, and I want to do. I want to say one thing about that is I think that is one of the reasons that I like the Onyx family, because that is kind of the consistent attitude of everybody, is to give and to show people, and they're so eager. That whole team is so eager to help somebody out, And it just fits with what Jody and I do and how we try to help people out, because our whole goal is like you said, it's not about the dollars.
No.
Yes, that's there and it has to be there, but it's about helping people's businesses grow, because it helps the whole industry and it helps everybody. If we can do something to somebody and it helps them get where they need to be. One of the proudest moments we had as a customer came to us and said, we expected to save a little money when we implemented software, but we actually made $80,000 in addition to what we made last year. And so to hear that, or to see somebody take on PPF and increase their business, that's great, because that helps their family and the next generation and just down the line.
Right, agreed. And speaking of Onyx, I think that's why I jumped on. I'm not much of a jumper to different companies, but when I saw that exactly going on with them, I'm like, wow, I'd love to surround myself by people who are like-minded, and it's because of them, Buff and Shine, Aztec Window Films, and PPF. I mean, these companies, the Rag Company, all of them have offered to jump in on this class, and thank you, Jody and Rod, for wanting to come out and look at this class and see what we can do with it, because if this works out, next summer we're doing an even larger, not just the local natives, but we're going to bring this up and open up to everybody, all the foster children in our area. And again, if that works, then we're going to jump up and go to the United States. And I'm currently learning how to do grants. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm going to learn. Really
I know
fast.
somebody that can help you. So let's connect afterwards. I do. I have somebody that specializes in that, and he actually runs a nonprofit out of Detroit called Involved Dad. Works with men coming out of the prison and other challenging situations, trying to reconnect with their kids. And him and his wife are really expert at tapping into that grant market, so I can help you there.
That would be excellent, Jody.
But I, you said something. I want to emphasize this. You said, it's just a little thing. But here's the thing. A little thing that changes somebody's life changes generations. Right? Yeah. When you can break the cycle and show somebody a new path, that is legacy. And I knowing you personally, I know that's what you're trying to do. It's like, you know what? I want to help people out of things like you. And I'm going to put a link to her podcast, because that was so tough. I mean, it was a stand up, give a round of applause, and just, I mean, it's probably my favorite podcast we've done in the last 4 years, hands down. So anyway, guys, Bernice Berry, if you're interested in PPF, you got to connect with her. She is the guru of gurus when it comes to PPF. Plus, she's repping a great line, Onyx. They got Product of the Year from the SDC last night. So kudos to you guys. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Awesome.
So, well, thank you so much. And I know you got people lining up waiting.
Yeah, there's already people lined up. So,
it's going to be good. So, guys, we will check you later today. So, see ya.
See you later.
Peace.